Welcome back to Spiritually Connected with Tanya Lee. I'm your host, Tanya Lee. Today we have a dynamic, fantastic, and beautiful Miss Rometris. Rometris is an inspirer, speaker, mentor, and author with over 20 years of experience and extensive study in personal self-development and healing with a strong background in leadership. Her passion also includes public speaking engagements that encourage living an inspired life of authenticity, empowerment, and confidence. Bring it on. Rometris has helped inspire and transform the lives of thousands of clients internationally from many walks of life and backgrounds through her speaking events, private sessions, and of course, both online and in person. In Rometris' work, she uses her innate leadership qualities and empathy to provide clarity, guidance, support, motivation, or whatever is required to create lifelong tools that best assist you in your life. As a teacher herself, she believes we must always be willing to learn as students in order to increase our ability and capacity to guide others. As an author, writing has provided a healing outlet in which Rometris openly shares her journeys with her readers. Please welcome Rometris.
Hello, hello. Can you hear me okay?
You bet. So glad to have you. So let's be very clear. Where are you calling from? Where are you at?
I am calling in from Oslo, Norway.
So exciting. I love that. So let's talk about this initially. There's lots of stuff I want to dive in, and you and I've had the chance to chat beforehand, and I can't wait. Might go completely off script on this one, and that's okay. First one I want to talk about is the book, The Last Breath.
Mm-hmm.
You are in it. I am in it.
And so are you.
Yeah. Which chapter are you in it?
I think it's 34.
34? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so what inspired you to write that story?
It's just so interesting that you asked that, because I never had any thought whatsoever to write this story, but I was invited along with over 40 other authors to share our stories about loss, about grief, and about the afterlife. And I just felt that in sharing my story, it was just so healing for me. Not only did I have to go through a process to heal from the loss and grief of a loved one, I won't get too much into it and I don't want to tell the story until the book is actually purchased. But I had to really experience some loss and grief of a loved one, and it was one of the worst things I ever had to go through. So to share that story with readers was actually therapy for me. So I went ahead and said yes to the invitation without hesitation.
I love that. And which in return is exactly how I found you. You were doing an interview on the Last Breath page, and you and we hadn't worked together, but I saw you and I was like, I got to know that girl. I wonder if she'll come on my podcast. And we'll get into this a little bit further, but it was almost love at first sight.
Yes. No, it was. Not almost.
I love that. And I love your energy, and I love how you are on screen. I could say on screen, but also you feel so authentic to me. And I think that's what I love the most, for sure.
Thank you. Ditto.
No, thank you. Take that in, right? We don't take that in enough. So Norway, I mean, honestly, how come Norway? What?
Usually if anyone is in some country you wouldn't expect them to be in, it's usually because of love or work. So I'm sure if you guess what that is.
I'm going to guess number one, love.
Yes, love. So we've lived here now for 10 years, nearly 11 years. We met in the USA. So I'm from the Midwest. I lived my adult life on the West Coast in Los Angeles. And that's where my husband and I met. My husband's Norwegian. So coming to Norway was like a whole new world for me, I have to say. And I can hear, I swear I'm not going to sing, but I am going to sing. A whole new world, brand new life to pursue, or something like that. And The Lion King. I kept hearing that song when I first moved here. I'm like, yeah, this is a whole new world. it was such a culture shock to me. But long story short, that's a whole nother story. I really had to tune in, and I really had to go within myself often on a regular basis so I wouldn't lose myself,
Yeah.
because everything about life here is totally different than life in Los Angeles. And so for me to keep my sanity, I had to go within often. And it's interesting because that's how I grew into my authenticity. That's how I grew into my power. That's how I grew into my voice. I just could no longer just live day to day being someone who I wasn't. I couldn't live day to day being the LA girl or the Midwestern girl. I had to plant both feet here in Norway in order to be present with where I am. But prior to that, I try to keep one foot in Los Angeles, one foot here, and it didn't work. It didn't work.
And I feel you, because that's I'm feeling the struggle now. So Canada and Australia is my homes, and again for love, just like you said. So I'm feeling in that I'm in the early stages of it, just this year, and so it will be an eventual full-on move to Australia with PR. So I love that you talk about coming back to yourself. So is that how you also found your psychic abilities, or were you psychic all your life?
I was psychic all my life. I was a little sensitive, a little empath. Oh, just when you asked that, I went back to those years of being a little girl, feeling the presence of spirit all around me. Um, I still remember evenings where my family and I lived in a two-story condo. And in the middle of the night when I had to go, when nature was calling as like a 5 or 6 year old, I was really afraid I wouldn't mind going downstairs, but going back upstairs in the middle of the night was really scary because I could always feel the presence of beings behind me. And I never really understood it until later in life. And so later in life, I decided to develop it, to strengthen it, to strengthen my abilities to help other people. But before that, it was really scary. And that's how it is with the unknown. We fear the unknown. I didn't understand it. And coming from a family who was really strong in church and religion,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't something that they talked about, spirits or the afterlife or anything like that. It wasn't a conversation. All there was God. That's it, which was fine. But I always knew that there was something more from a very young age. I always knew there was something more, but I could never explain it. And my family never explained it to me. But one day, my mom, I still remember it. Still, I can hear it echo in my mind. I was probably about 5 or 6, and I was sleeping and having a dream, so I thought. And I was laying in bed, and I just felt this presence of someone tickling my feet. And as that little girl, I remember rubbing my eyes, and I was trying to adjust my vision, rubbing my eyes, adjusting my vision, and I just saw this light, like I can't describe it, it wasn't an orb, it was just a presence
Yeah.
of light. And when I screamed, it like wiggled and went out the window. And I remember running to my mom's room. I was like, "There's somebody in my room. There's someone in my room." And I was like crying hysterically. And she comforted me. But afterwards, the next day, I remember her saying to me, "You know what? That was probably your great grandma, your great grandma." And she
Oh,
left it at that. But she never said more than that.
right.
So when I was little, I can always hear her voice saying that was probably your great grandma. But that question always lingered in my head. I never met her. She passed before I was born. Why would she say that was someone who's not alive anymore? It just never really made sense. And then I realized as I got older, my mom does understand what spirit is. She just doesn't talk about it.
Right.
So I just wanted to discover it more, strengthen my abilities more to help other people and to understand what it's all about.
I love that. So was your family supportive of you developing your gifts?
Always, always. They didn't want to be in it. They would always say, "That's your thing. That's your thing, Rometris. Do your thing." But they didn't want to really be a part of it. For instance, with my events, before all of this happened around the world, the pandemic, I would teach in the U.S., even though I live here in Norway. But My family don't come to my events. I find it interesting, right? It's like friends or people who know of me come to my events, but I don't have family members that come to my events. My brother does. My brother, I call him my wonder twin.
Aw.
He loves them, but my family is really into their faith and their religion, and it's just something that they choose not to do, but they totally support me in what I do, and they love it. And they love our book as well.
Yes.
Our co-author, our contributing author book. They
Hmm.
all, many of them have bought the book. So, that's a positive thing.
I
And I
agree.
think we do need people who support our work, that encourage us to do what we do. But then we also need the people who don't support us, because then it helps us to understand that's the way that it is. And it gives us strength to just move on. You know, I think that's how it's supposed to be.
I love that. I love that. And
Mhm.
everybody is, uh, and this is why I started this show, is because I'm the eternal skeptic of everything. and
Mhm.
and until, and I was, I think, in denial for forever, until
Mhm.
I had seen the operation, because I challenged spirit, and I was like, yeah, this is all fake, I'm making it up. And I was in turmoil in my personal life, and then I went, okay, so if this is actually real, you show me something. And of course,
Mhm.
boom, that night comes
Mhm.
pretty quick. I'm with you on my family is not, they support me in what I do. However, they're going, okay, that's your thing, that's your thing. How can you, how did you make it okay for you? And as we talk about with, for other people, how do you make it okay for you, what you do, or what we do? And what advice can you give to somebody else that might be struggling with families not okay with it?
Well, I try to keep anything that I share with my viewers and my followers. I try to put it in layman's terms. I do my best to keep it simple. It doesn't always work that way, but I do my best. For me, one of the examples I use is, and again, it's just only personal for me. Would I ever take my husband shopping with me? And for me, the answer is no.
No.
Because he's very impatient. He's looking at his watch, and he wants to get back home to the soccer game and to the sofa. The sofa is his favorite place. So no, I would never take him shopping. Nor will I get into like really, really deep conversations and go down that rabbit hole and he's just totally lost. I mean, that is not his role. We have people in our lives that serve a certain purpose and have a certain role. And we just have to pay attention to who those people are. We have our followers, we have our supporters, and then we have our friends and family and our partners, who could also be our followers and supporters as well. But I find, from my personal experience, that has not been the case. My friends and family see me as Rometris.
That's right.
My followers see me as the inspirational speaker, the mentor, the author, the medium, right? And they would love to have my autograph. My family and friends don't want my autograph. So I feel like it keeps me grounded. It keeps us grounded. I think we need both of them. So I would tell people, you will have others that come into your life that's not going to accept your gift or what you do. And guess what? That's okay. That's just not your tribe. It's okay.
Exactly.
Just be
Exactly.
out there and present yourself and express yourself with people who love you for what you do and are open to it. I don't get into the game of trying to convince people. It's too much energy. I just don't. I don't need to convince you of anything. You either love me or you don't. And I'm gonna love you anyway.
I love that. Yes, yes, exactly. I can feel your heart, and you just light up when you talk about, um, what you do and how you do it, and I just love that. So let's get into that a little bit more. So
Sure.
I want to know what soul guidance is. This is what you do. So
Mhm.
one of multitude things that you do. So can you just walk me through what that would look like? So if I just signed up and I said I need soul guidance, I'm signing up for that. What does that look like?
Right. Well, first of all, I wouldn't hear the words that you were saying. You would register with a session for me. You would tell me I would ask you what brought you to me.
Yeah.
And as you start talking, I'm not hearing anything that you're saying. Um, what I'm listening to is on a deeper level of your being. So again, I'm not listening to the words, I'm listening to what you're really saying. Don't ask me how I do it. It's just a gift that I have. I go to the core of what you're trying to express, the root cause of what I'm supposed to sense, see, feel, hear, or know. And so after you share with me what guided you to come get a session with me, I would say, okay, so would you understand this when you were a child, or this experience that happened in the workplace a few months ago? The information starts to come to me from a soul level of my recipient, and it comes in pictures, feelings, words, and then I will express that to them. And so I find that a lot of times the question that they're asking is not really what they want to know. So they're asking me something, but I'm like, okay, I hear you, but this is what I really hear. And I just love it. There's no other work that is as rewarding as soul work. Not at all. Because it's always different, it's always unique, and I never know what to expect. And it gives me great joy to work in that way.
Oh, I love that.
So a lot of times it's not always issues, a lot of times it's childhood trauma, or any trauma that you've experienced in your life. It could be blockages in your life, areas of your life that's holding you back from stepping into your greatness. It could be inspiration. It could be so many different things. I never know until the person starts to talk. And then it's like suspended thoughts and thought forms and pictures and feelings, just a huge movie. Yeah.
That's brilliant. I love that. Ooh. What else can people expect when they work with you?
I would say lifetime change. In one session, you are not on the same level of awareness and consciousness from when you first came to me. So you're forever changed. Now, you might go back to the same patterns. I'm not going to say that you will completely change patterns and you're going to live happily ever after. What I do is I provide the areas of your life that you need to pay attention to. I provide the areas of your life that is seeking your attention so you can live your greatest and fullest life. But I can't hold your hand. I can't walk you through the door. You have to take the action steps. And so these changes are lifelong. It's just amazing. But the thing is, after one session, you can't go back to being the same way you were. But if you do, you'll become aware of it, right? And when you become aware of it, you have nobody to blame but yourself. It's called 100% responsibility. Because, we have to admit it, we're human. So a lot of times, even me, from time to time, when I'm unconscious, I start pointing fingers. Well, if only this changed, or if only this was different. No. If I want something to change, I have to change my feelings or my thoughts about it and take responsibility for that. And so that's what I teach my clients. I teach them that transformation is just a mindset away, right? When we get in touch with those places in our life that no longer serve us, if it's been in the past or if it's been recent, it doesn't matter. That change can always be done anytime, no matter how young or how old you are. But you have to be willing to. It's called sweet surrender.
Oh, I have it. I've created a t-shirt that says, I surrender so hard.
I would love to see that. I would love to see that.
I'll snap a picture and send it to you. In fact, I'll post it up for everybody to see because it is, I don't have any tattoos yet, or I don't know if I'm going to get one, but if that was one tattoo I would get, it would be that, because I think that we, like you said, we're, human, we're spiritual beings having a human experience. And so to me, it's ego gets in the way of, the fears, and as well as the holding us back, as well as, a myriad of other things. So I'm always saying, I surrender, I surrender. As I definitely teach all my students that as well. I think it's so important because when you can surrender to what is, not give up, that's not what I mean. You surrender. And I think I love that you said sweet surrender. You might have
Mhm.
to have a t-shirt made up for sweet surrender. That would be a good
Well,
one.
yeah, I surrender so hard, a sweet surrender, same but different.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, what better than to put it on the t-shirt so you'll actually remember? I love
Right.
that.
That's perfect. Hey, Rometris, do you have a favorite client or one that really stands out to you? And if so,
Absolutely, I do. I
good.
do. And even though I've done this work when I lived in Los Angeles as well, my work didn't really take off exponentially until I moved here. Again, it's a whole new culture, it's a whole new way of life, a whole new way of being. And when I moved here to Norway 10 years ago, spirituality was not really a thing. You know, it was in its infancy, right? And so it wasn't really known. There was not much known about it, but there wasn't even spiritual or metaphysical shops at that time. But now there's more. It's grown so much. But when I brought my skills and my presence here, I was like this beaming light.
Mhm.
And spirit was like, you're not going to be able to hide. You can't blend in like you did when you're in Los Angeles. You were here to stand out. And I'm like, okay, this is why I was called here, right? To bring my light in a place that it was needed. Um, so I would say my clientele was definitely different. And there was one client that sticks out the most. And he really challenged me in a way that when I would tune into him on a soul level, I was getting so much information that I didn't even understand myself. You understand? It's kind of like when we do readings for people or we provide healing, we seek to understand how we're working with that client. We don't always understand, and it's not up to us to understand. That's not the utmost of importance. But so much information was coming through him that it was like a foreign language. You know, I'm in a foreign country, and the information was just so foreign. And so I still, till this day, it's just warming my heart right now, working with him. And we've worked together for at least 3 years on and off. Information was coming through him that I didn't understand, but it helped me to surrender to the information. It helped me to understand, Demetrius, it doesn't matter if you understand it or not. He understands it. We're taught that, right?
Yes.
As coaches, as intuitives, as psychics. You don't have to understand the information. But a lot of things were coming through me that I totally didn't understand on any level, and he understood it all. And
Mm.
so working with him did definitely help me to surrender to spirit and to surrender to the information that was coming through me for him.
Oh, I
So
love.
now when things come through me, I'm like, you know what? I'm really unattached to whether it's right or wrong. It's me and it's your soul, or it's me and spirit. That's it. So it has helped me a lot.
Good. I love that. Ooh, that's good. Um, so many questions I want to ask you.
So many questions, so little time.
Right? That's the key thing. I'm like, okay, how can I get out as many questions as I possibly can? So let's switch it up a little bit. Are you open
Sure,
to doing a couple of readings?
of course.
Perfect. So just for everybody at home, these readings, the names, Remetris only would have the first names only of each of these persons, and I'm just going to provide that here. And in fact, we don't have the names I gave her. I don't remember where they are. My assistant has them, and so she's off sick right now. And so I'm going to make up these names as we go. So she's really running blind. And again, these are part of my inner circle. I'm connect a couple. So let's start with the first one. Let's start with Jackie G.
Yes. All right. So what I'm doing now is I'm using my intuition along with an oracle card deck that I felt guided to use.
Love it.
Okay. So I feel with Jackie, she's a professional lady, and when I say that, it's like she takes her work serious. She takes what she does serious, and she kind of really, I might as well just say, takes life serious. And what I feel with her now more than ever is a time for you to learn to play, a time for you to learn to be in that space of authority, of responsibility, but also of what we talked about, sweet surrender, that we can't control everything. If we let go of the hold of everything having to be the way that we want, a whole new life opens up for us. And I feel like with you, Jackie, you've been asking, there has to be more than this. It can't be this hard. Something needs to change. And the message I'm getting for you is there can be change, but change starts with you. You can't continue to have the same thoughts and the same feelings and the same ways of being, but then you expect something to change, right? You can't expect to do the same things expecting something else to change. So I feel like your reading is encouraging you to be brave, be daring, to do things different. Now's the time more than ever. We have more time on our hands,
We do.
right? For everyone. No one is exempt. You have a lot of time to really cultivate new ways of seeing. There's no fear. Holding on to things really tight is really another way of expressing fear. There's no need to hold on to people or situations so tightly. Loosen up the grip. Let people be who they are. And guess what? That's going to come back around to you. And then you can be who you are. There's nothing for you to prove. There's nothing to prove whatsoever. Just be you and do it well. That's what I feel with you. And the card that I have for you, it says, surrender to the wisdom of your body. I also feel that you have some worries about health, or you have some worries about, is there anything I need to get checked out, or am I eating right, or is there something I need to change? And this card is saying, you have to also remember your emotional health. Your energetic health is not always physical. So I feel like the people around you are really, really draining your energy. And it's really important for you to keep as much positivity around you as possible. We can't always, it's not 100% guaranteed that we can have positivity around us all the time, but keep as much positivity around you as possible, because I feel like a lot of your energy is going to trying to defend yourself or trying to explain yourself. And at the end of the day, you don't have anything to prove to anyone but yourself.
I love that.
That's the reading for Jackie.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And you know what? I know Jackie, she's still quite new to me as well. She's a new mentee of mine. And so that makes a lot of sense in a lot of different ways. So I love that. Good job. Thank you for that one. That's beautiful.
Sure.
Let's go with Stacy.
Sure. Yeah. Stacy. Let's see what we have for you. All right, Stacy, I'm just going to give you a tip, right? The universe meets you at the point of action. So you have to make up your mind and decide and go with it. No more sitting on the fence. That's what I feel with Stacy. I feel like she is a woman that's full of ideas. She's very creative, but the issue is she gets so many downloads that she doesn't really take action in the direction that she wants. She wants to make sure that this is the best step for her. But the thing is, we're not ever sure. I mean, anybody listening, are you ever 100% sure of what you want to do? Are you ever 100% sure of your next step? And if you are, please tell me how you do it. Because I don't feel like I'm always 100%, even though I'm intuitive. The card that I have for you, Stacy, is curiosity. And the card says, start a project related to something you're curious about. And it's interesting because I was saying, you're going to be getting a lot of downloads. You're going to get a lot of inspiration and thoughts, but you're not going to know where to start. So where you're going to start is the thought or impression or inspiration that makes your heart sing, that you just can't get it out of your head. Because the most important thing is just to start. Just do the thing. Just like Nike says, just do it. Don't wait.
Right.
There's no need to wait for Christmas. So again, I feel like with her, just choose something, whatever calls to your heart, and just do it. Because the universe will meet you at the point of action. and you're going to be supported no matter what. So no more sitting on the fence. Just pick something and go with it. There's no mistakes. You cannot make a mistake.
Yes. Yes. Perfect. Ooh, got me chills. That was a good one. That was a very good one. How about Lori?
Lori. Her energy is really different from the other two.
Yes, I agree with that.
Wow. Okay. So her energy is not as open, but I've connected with her right now. And I feel like with Lori, right, that's why. Lori, okay, you don't have to be anybody but yourself, okay? You don't have to please everyone. You don't have to let people tell you who you are. The card that I got for you is stand your ground. And the picture that I got for you is a mountain. I feel like there's a lot of expectations of you to be a certain way, to do things a certain way, to what is the word I'm looking for? To produce, right? And so the thing is, what's really important for you to know is this is your life. This is your life to live. So you have to claim your power. You have to claim your space. You have to own who you are. And the only person that you have to answer to is you. Instead of taking orders or falling into the expectations of others or societal conditions, you decide, you make your own rules. It's time for you to make your own rules and play by your own rules. And you be your own authority in your life. That's what I feel for you. Be your own authority in your life. But in addition to that, I feel there's a very low feeling with you now. There's a lot of uncertainty with you now, as it is for many of us. But, you know, I'm sure it is for you and I as well. But everyone handles these low times and these uncertainties in different ways. For me, I like to sing, I like to dance, I like to play with my children, I like to go for walks. So the uncertainty is still there, but I do things to lift my vibration. And I feel like for you, you're believing too much in the unknown right now. There's a lot of unknowns for you. But I feel like it's really important for you to be around people that support you. It's really important for you to do things that inspire you. And also take projects that you've always thought about doing and that you've never done, like playing an instrument or reading that book. There's plenty of time to do that right now. So be you. Don't be who other people expect you to be. Stand your ground, speak up, and ask for what you want.
Nice. Yes. Oh, that'll resonate. That'll totally resonate with her.
You know her too?
I do. Yes. I've known her for a couple of years. She's been in my inner circle for a number of years now.
Okay, cool.
Are you open to doing one more?
Okay, for you, of course.
Oh, perfect. Sweet. How about Val?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Val, let's see what's coming for you. I feel like you're a well-rounded lady, and I feel like on a soul level, you have everything that you need. And in that, I don't feel, a lot of times when people have everything that they need, they don't really strive for more. And I feel like that's where you are. I have everything I need, then it's okay. But the thing is, if you ask for more and strive for more, then you have more to give for other people. And the card that I have for you is surrender defensiveness. Defensiveness is not a sign of weakness. To communicate in a more empowered way, stay centered and hear someone out. Then offer a clear and non-defensive response. And when I say that is, again, you already have everything you want in life. You're a very well-rounded lady. And so I feel when people come to you and ask you things, then let me see what way I can say this. Okay, I'll just say it. share your space more, be more open, share more of you, right? I feel like on some level, when people come to you, you feel like it's a responsibility. And when people come to you, it is a responsibility. It definitely is, but see it as a gift instead of a hindrance. And I feel that this is more that has to do with relationships. It can be friendships, it can be co-workers, those type of relationships. I feel like you feel like it's a lot of responsibility when these people are coming to you, asking questions or asking something of you. So I feel like your cards are saying to open up more, give yourself more, and create more space for people who are not as well-rounded or secure as you are. Because you're a gift. You have a lot to offer, and you have to understand that you do have a lot to offer to other people. So be open, be a little more open.
I love that. Yes, and that totally resonates. That'll make sense for her completely. Ah, look at you go. You're on fire. So Rometris, if somebody wanted to book a reading with you, do any kind of class with you, anything, how do they find you?
They will find me. I'm not sure. Does my website come up
Yes,
here in
it
my
does.
picture?
Yep, shows up.
Okay. The
Yep.
best way to connect with me is through my website. That's the simplest way. I have this website, and then for my mediumship, it's Life is Eternal. Lifeiseternal.com is my mediumship website. I do so many different things. Like I've said in a couple of these readings, a lot of times we're multi-talented, right? And there's many different things that we can do. So I couldn't put everything in one website. So my life coaching and my writing and my speaking is at rometris.com, and my mediumship and my healing is on lifeiseternal.com.
Oh, I love that. Okay. I'll have the links down below for everybody can check it out and go from there. I loved having you on, and we only got like an ounce of information out of you. So would you be open to coming back on again and we can talk more and get
I don't know about that. Sure. Yeah, of course. It's a lot of fun. It's absolutely.
Yeah. So one last thing, what are you working on right now that you might want to share with people?
Well, what I'm working on right now is really forming communities internationally where people can get together, and so that they won't feel alone. They can get together and they can talk about their gifts, their spiritual gifts. They can talk about their challenges that they're having in life, and they could just share the knowledge that they have with one another. If it's about healing, or if it's about coaching, if it's about angels, if it's about mindfulness. So I feel like that's one of the things that's really important for me right now, is creating communities internationally where people can really connect with one another. And when I say internationally, the time zone things, I'm learning so much about time zones right now. I'm just like, okay, I didn't learn this stuff in high school. And if I did, that was many, many moons ago. So for instance, you mentioned Australia. I don't have a following in Australia, but to have a group in Australia that can connect, and a group in USA, Norway, different places around the world. I think it's important now more than ever for people to find that positive outlet where they don't feel alone, and it can be with like-minded people.
Love that. Well, you have me now for Australia.
I know.
Start.
Yeah, I think so. We're going to definitely have to talk about that for sure.
That would be super fun. And
where are you now?
I'm in Canada right now.
Okay, you're in Canada right now. Okay, I wasn't for sure if you're in Canada or Australia.
Sometimes and they have a 15-hour difference too, give or take where you're from, and so it's definitely interesting to navigate for sure. So I hear you on the time zones. I truly do for sure. All right, Remy, just thank you so much for coming on and sharing all about you. I love learning more about you and getting to know you much more, and I look forward to following you and finding out and supporting you in any way I can. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
And I'm here to do the same for you, Tanya. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Good.